Metabolic therapy and schizophrenia includes cardio, and that should include blood doping. So how important is cardio, blood doping in to cure schizophrenia? Since I don't remember exactly, about the 60s or 70s, blood doping and cardio were known to improve cognition, not to make anybody smarter, but just to improve cognitive performance of athletes and pilots. And and later, I think it was in the 80s, special forces also used cardio and blood doping. It's so important, they put pilots and astronauts in, I forget what it's called. I think it's a decompression or compression chamber. I think it's got a different name to it. And they remove the oxygen from the room, and the pilots and astronauts are expected to be cognizant of symptoms because everybody reacts differently to low oxygen environment. One of the tools to help pilots and astronauts is a common children's toy to put the square peg in the square hole, that often a ball with the different shapes, and pilots and astronauts with 1 or more degrees in a low oxygen environment cannot complete the child's toy like an alcoholic, or I shouldn't say an alcoholic. What I should say is like somebody who's drunk or high on drugs can't, or somebody who's tired can't perform simple tasks. And those skills come back with oxygen. So in the test, they'll have somebody who will turn the oxygen back on. If the pilot or astronaut fails to, if they don't recognize the signs, and they have to be aware of the signs, the symptoms of low oxygen, and there's a checklist of symptoms to look for, and everybody will react differently. So if the pilot or astronaut does not turn the oxygen on, there's usually somebody in the room who can, and there's a safety person outside the chamber to turn the oxygen back on. And you say, well, that's low oxygen, though military special forces has done the same thing. similar. And even in a normal oxygen environment, it's been known many years that people, including special forces soldiers, perform better in the high oxygen environment. So there's a couple of ways to do that. Cardio is the best thing. Athletes and soldiers are prescribed blood doping by removing red blood cells, letting the body build a certain amount of red blood cells, and then while the blood is separated, extracting the red blood cells to be stored so that a soldier, special forces soldier, can inject the red blood cells for certain important missions. That's the theory behind it. How often it's practiced, I don't know. And so seems important in metabolic therapy for things like schizophrenia, or especially, let's just say that, especially for schizophrenia. And so though it seems important to consider with any mental health injury or trauma, so at the very least, seems we can have doctors prescribing cardio exercise. So I don't know how to end on a positive note. Granted, not everybody likes to do exercise, though. Seems is it that crazy that doctors might prescribe cardio for mental health injuries? Anyway, have a good night.